velodrome opened in 2012. By that point I was already very serious about track cycling, and a world-class facility opened up on my doorstep.
Yeah, it was that springboard to bigger and better things afterwards.
It adds some pressure, but I think the pressure that adds is good.
Scotland lead the way with Katie Archibald. She's trying to hang on. It's Laura Trott who gets ahead of Erin Boothman right on the line. Archibald takes the 5 points on the line.
The biggest thing, I think, more than the Commonwealth Games, is the legacy that this facility will provide for Scotland and for Glasgow, and to see that, you know, it will be the first step on hopefully a journey that will attract people into the sport.
I think you can see that so clearly over years and years and years, that you take Chris Hoy and Craig McLean out of Meadowbank, you take Jason Kenny out of the Manchester Velodrome, you take Becky James out of Newport. Like, these are all Olympic champions that, and world champions, Olympic medalists that are products of facilities, products of communities that build around an opportunity that they have. And Jack Carlin's the biggest name, I think, that you could have grown from the hub that we have here.
I was sitting in the stands pretty much directly opposite of us from here. I was on the junior Scotland squad at the time, but training with the guys who were selected to go. And yeah, that was where really ultimately my passion to really take this on and grab the bull by the horns was kind of initiated. My name's Jack Carlin. I am a track cyclist for GB and Scotland, and I'm from Paisley, just down the road.
Carlin aiming for bronze. And Jack Carlin's going for a long one, all out for the bronze medal. He does everything he can to fend off the Dutchman. What a scrap towards the line. Jack Carlin's got it.
I started off, I was a keen footballer, and then kind of transitioned into this quite late as a sport. Went to Meadowbank, which was over in Edinburgh, for a couple of sessions, but again, Edinburgh was an open roof track and the rain never really stayed away, so we got indoors when this opened in 2013, and that was kind of where my career kind of started progressing down, focusing fully onto the track side, and it's kind of almost went from there. 2023, the Super Worlds were here in Glasgow, which was an amazing experience. It was I think it was the first championship event I'd done. It was the first, that was the Cycling World Champs last year was one of these huge mega events that was all cycling disciplines across the world were all in one place in Glasgow, and it was a really special time, and I got to have all my friends and family in the crowd, and the support and the noise that came from this velodrome for any time I stood on the track or lined up on the track was amazing. Who have I looked up to in the sport? I think the obvious for me is Chris Hoy. We're sitting in his velodrome now. Chris's keirin in 2012 was probably one of my strongest memories of that kind of age of cycling, and I think Chris as a whole is an inspirational person on and off the bike.
To be able to have a truly world-class facility, that alone is amazing, but to have your name on the side of it, that's the icing on the cake. Well, my name's Chris Hoy. I'm a former member of the Scottish cycling team, and yeah, we're here at the velodrome today, looking forward to the Commonwealth Games. Well, when I heard the news that Glasgow was going to be hosting the Commonwealth Games again here in Glasgow, it was just, yeah, brilliant news, really exciting. 2014 was massive for Scottish cycling and for Glasgow. So it's, you know, we've got a proven track record, and it's going to be great to see the games come back again. Oh, the atmosphere was incredible, and not just here in the velodrome, but just the city in general. There was a buzz about the place. I don't know if you remember, the weather was amazing as well. Apart from the first couple of days, the sun came out and it was just beautiful sunshine, beautiful summer weather. And I remember here in the velodrome being this vantage point there for the studio that we had with the BBC, looking down on the track and just being so proud that we'd managed to put on this incredible event. You know, when I started track cycling back in the early 1990s in Edinburgh at Meadowbank, we were fighting to get an indoor track, just to get a roof over this old, you know, rickety track that had been built for the 76 Games. And yeah, here we were with this incredible multi-million-pound facility that we can host fantastic international competitions. Well, I think the legacy of the games themselves, from a performance perspective, it was the springboard for Katie Archibald. That was her first, major championship that she shone in, and she had that crowd behind her, and it, well, we don't need to explain what an amazing career she's had so far, and there's way more to come, I'm sure. But that, to me, Katie Archibald was the standout.
You'll meet people that they say they like to race in the rain, but what they really mean is, I like how scared everyone else is of racing in the rain because I can cope. And I say Glasgow's a bit of a track like that, that if you know how to run it, you have an advantage. So that makes a lot of people very happy when they're like, and I know how it works, so here we go. And obviously that's the advantage of being at home. My name's Katie Archibald and I'm a Scottish track cyclist.
Katie Archibald, she's trying to hang on. Katie Archibald, followed by Eleanor Barker. Katie Archibald!
Surely this is going to be a new world record.
Cycling for me was a family holiday thing. We'd go cycle touring, and it wasn't a competitive sport. When I was really young, I was a swimmer. That was what my family did. I quit sport the same time as all teenage girls do, sort of that 13 to 15 bracket. And it was almost like losing swimming is what made me realise that I could feed this sense of competition on a bike instead. The 2014 Commonwealth Games started everything for me. Like I say, the fact that this facility was built meant I could join the Scottish team. I'd been driving back and forth my mum had been driving me back and forth from Meadowbank before then. I'm 30 years old now. I was 20 years old for the 2014 Games. And off the back of a sort of injury-laden last couple of years, you end up reflecting and soul-searching and trying to make an assessment of what the impact of your career has been and how much time do I have left and all these kind of really miserable questions. And it's such a driving force, the goal of 2026, and I'm so aware of how different I am as an athlete, and speaking to riders like Erin Boothman really puts it in place that I'm a different generation now. I'm not able to just hold the hands of my mentors and my idols. You need to walk in with your shoulders back as one of the elders.
Yeah, I think it would mean a lot. I think it would kind of be the final step up that I'd hopefully make in the kind of Scottish pathway. And like you say, I've raced lots as a junior, but I think to make that final step and ride as an elite and be surrounded by the likes of Katie and Nia would definitely be something that I'd look forward to and be super proud of. My name's Erin Boothman and I'm a road and track cyclist for GB and Fouty Everyone Active. When I was younger, I always kind of cycled with my family, just like round Millport and all the things that you did when you were a kid. And then when I was like 10, I joined a club and started racing. But I remember watching it on the TV and remember Katie's points race and being like, oh my God, like, it's so exciting. And I think at that stage I was kind of not fully into the sport, and that probably was like the stage where I was like, oh my God, it's really interesting, would really like to do that myself. The Scottish teams for the female side, certainly on the track, has always been massive, so I think the thought to even be like in contention for it is definitely something I could be proud of.
Unless you've been in a velodrome, I don't think you appreciate how fast and chaotic the racing can be. And I think that was one of my first tastes of being in a live venue with it. Watching my teammates in Scotland compete, but also just watching some of the best in the world compete at it, and it was exhilarating. And I think the buzz around the general atmosphere within the people even around me and just the whole place, anytime there was any incident, any crazy move, anything that was almost edge of your seat stuff, there was people jumping up and down, clapping, shouting. It was almost like you were at a football game in a velodrome. It was so loud and almost overwhelming at times, and it's funny how I just at that point clicked and went, that's something that I would absolutely, I love to be part of and be part of the other side of it. And it was really the kind of the point where everything went from enjoying the sport and just doing it as part of health and trying to be good at a British level to going, no, do you know what, like I've got a real opportunity here, and I could look at myself doing this for the next years to come, which it was a turning point for me, and I think that's what the legacy of places like 2014 Commonwealth Games that have all came to Glasgow have left, and have inspired kids like myself to really give it a good go, and that's where we're at now, and hopefully I'll be able to be on the other side this time and hear that crowd roaring for me.